Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're doing something that is just incredibly practical. We are literally building a toolkit to decode the world around us. Because whether you realize it or not, we are constantly absorbing complex information. And honestly, more importantly, we're constantly trying to share our understanding of that information with others.
I mean, think about it for a second. Have you ever tried to explain to a friend exactly how a really complicated board game works? Or, tried to articulate precisely why your computer just keeps crashing every time you open a certain program? It is way tougher than it looks, right? When we try to make sense of the world and then share that clear understanding with someone else, we're actually stepping into the role of a creator. And, well, every successful creator needs the right set of tools.
Okay, let's dive right into this and map out the 4 specific tools we're going to explore today to help you master reading comprehension and nonfiction writing. We'll be looking at Section 1, what are explanatory texts? Section 2, the power of linking words. Section 3, key content vocabulary. And Section 4, navigating with a glossary.
Starting off with Section 1, what are explanatory texts? This right here is the foundation of our entire toolkit. Before we get into the micro tools, things like specific words and glossaries, we really need to establish the macro level importance of this format and why we even care about this specific type of writing.
So here's our clean, authoritative baseline. An explanatory text is defined as a type of non-fiction writing that explains how or why something happens. Notice the heavy emphasis there, right? It focuses exclusively on nonfiction. We aren't dealing with fictional stories or imaginary worlds here. We are dealing with reality. Its entire mission is to answer those 2 fundamental human questions, how and why.
So how exactly do you spot an explanatory text out in the wild? Well, they rely heavily on logic and facts. You'll notice they are logically structured. They don't just jump around randomly. They constantly use definitions to make sure the reader is totally on the same page. They rely on cause and effect relationships to build a really strong case. And finally, they utilize very clear sequences.
Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter to me? Well, because mastering these texts is actually incredibly empowering. They allow us to truly understand how things work. They give us the ability to follow instructions and complete tasks correctly. I mean, anything from baking a cake to putting together complex machinery. They're our primary way to learn about the world around us, and ultimately, they grant us the ability to explain things to others clearly. Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. The power of linking words. If explanatory texts are, say, the solid structure of a house, then linking words are absolutely the essential nails and glue holding the whole shebang together. They're the vital clues and connections that make these texts actually function. And this brilliantly illustrates how linking words naturally group into 3 main functions to connect our ideas and sentences. First up, for sequences or steps, we use words like first, next, or finally to logically order a process. Pretty straightforward. Next, cause and effect words. Think because, so, and therefore. These explain why things happen. And finally, when you just need to connect similar ideas together and add information, you'd use transitional words like moreover or additionally. Basically, these words give your writing that smooth, logical flow. Moving right along to Section 3, key content vocabulary. Now that we've got our structure and our linking words sorted out, let's look at the specific codes of our texts. Think of vocabulary as the specific color palette a writer uses to paint a highly precise picture for you, the reader. Let's run through a quick, rapid-fire sequence of some vocabulary words that instantly elevate a text, starting with tidings. When a writer uses this instead of simply saying news, it adds this distinct, almost formal flavor to the information being shared. Or consider the word ancestral, meaning inherited or passed down through family generations. This specific word injects a deep sense of history and legacy into whatever it is you're explaining. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have laid back, which simply means relaxed. Notice how just popping in this specific term brings a calm, casual energy to an explanation. You don't even need a full sentence to describe the mood. And that immediately contrasts with a word like garish, meaning bright and showy, right? It's an incredibly high-energy choice that paints a really loud, vivid picture in the reader's mind. Or take picturesque, meaning beautiful and scenic. I love this one. It instantly triggers the exact image of a perfect, tranquil landscape. No lengthy, drawn-out description of the scenery required.
We'll wrap this rapid fire up with indulgent, meaning generous. So the absolutely crucial point here is that choosing the exact right word gives explanatory texts their specific flavor. It makes your explanations incredibly rich and precise.
Finally, Section 4, Navigating with a Glossary. Because look, even with great linking words and an amazing vocabulary, complex texts can sometimes stump us. Think of the glossary as your ultimate troubleshooting guide.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how straightforward this tool is. You'll always find it located right at the end, the back of a book. It acts exactly like a mini dictionary that's been tailored specifically for the hard or new words in that text. And because it's arranged in alphabetical A, B, C order, you can pinpoint your troubleshooting word literally in seconds. But here is the ultimate why of using a glossary. Why actually take the time to flip to the back of the book? Simple. It makes learning faster and easier. It ensures you completely understand what you're reading without having to just stop and guess what a word means. It genuinely accelerates your entire learning process.
Wow, okay, we have built quite the toolkit today. You now completely understand the logical structure of explanatory texts, the structural glue of linking words, the rich flavor of precise vocabulary, and the troubleshooting power of a glossary. You are fully equipped to decode complex information. So my enthusiastic challenge to you as we wrap up this explainer is this. What will you explain next using your new tools? Get out there and start decoding.